Hey, so this is my first vlog, and it's me being lazy and talking about the past few days of my life because they've been super weird and super eventful. It's Sunday now, but on Thursday, it started this whole adventure. So I had a job interview, and my friends wanted me to go to North Carolina with them to see modern baseball and say anything. So I really wanted to go to both of these things, and so my interview was at 5, and they wanted to leave at 4:30. So I was like, you guys can just go, it's fine. So I was about to go into my interview, and they were like, oh, we're still in town. Like, if you get out, let me know. So we can maybe still do this. So I went into the interview, and it took maybe 10 minutes, and I got hired on the spot. And he was like, yeah, you start tomorrow at 8 p.m. And so I was like, oh, okay. Um, so I texted my friends, and I was like, hey, I'm out. And they were like, oh, okay, cool, meet us at the gas station, you can still come. So I met them at the gas station, we drove to North Carolina, we saw Say Anything in Modern Baseball, and it was super, super fun, and I danced like crazy, and I met new friends, and then we got back to Virginia at 2 in the morning, and so, um, I, the next day, I had to teach yoga, which was fun, and then, um, I worked at 8, and so I got there, and in the interview he was kind of like, yeah, it's like a restaurant and a hookah bar, and so he was kind of like, yeah, you'll be mainly working in the restaurant at first. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. So I go there expecting to be serving people or whatever, and all of a sudden I'm bartending and making hookahs for people. I did absolutely zero things with the restaurant. Just so weird. And so I just bartended all night, and I was just very confused the whole time. And there was a DJ, and 1,000 people were there, and it was just really crazy. And so at the end of the night, I was mopping, and everyone was kind of leaving. It was 2, I guess, at that point, and I hear my coworker screaming. She's like, I am not a hoe. And I was like, what? So I go out. I was in the back, and I come out, and she's running towards me, covering her mouth like she's about to throw up. And she runs out the back and just starts puking. And so I was like, was she secretly drinking all night? Is she sick? I don't understand. And so she comes back in, and she's like, oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've been so angry I puked. And I was like, that's a thing? I have never been that mad where I wanted to throw up. I don't know. That was really, really crazy. And, so I got home at 3, and I woke up at 8 o'clock to a phone call from the people that live above me. They're gone for the weekend, and there was someone that was supposed to be staying upstairs to let this guy in to fix a leak, but he didn't end up staying. So they called me, and they wanted me to open the door for him. So I opened the door for him, and then I just ended up staying upstairs, and I was trying to fall asleep on their couch, and then the guy that was supposed to stay over ended up coming over an hour later, and so I hung out with him for a little bit, and then he left, and I fell asleep, and I woke up at 2 p.m. to couch stuffing just everywhere, and they have a husky upstairs named Coda. I feel like literally anyone that has a husky, they name it Coda. And I was freaking out because I didn't know if he ate any, and he was just lying on the floor. But he was just asleep, but I thought he was dead, and so I was freaking out. And So then Matt, the guy that was supposed to stay over, he was actually having a party here, 4th of July, so he came back over and started doing that, and then I stayed for like 20 minutes of his party, and then I had to go to work. And so I got there, and again, started bartending, and, the freaking bottle opener that they have is like completely broken. It doesn't work. And so all night I was struggling opening freaking Coronas with a broken bottle opener, and I like hurt my finger, and like my boss was even struggling with it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like we used to have so many of these and now they're gone." And it's like, okay, well, this isn't working and it's really stressing me out. But yeah, so I mean, I made it through. It was all right, and I don't know, like it was sort of crazy last night. I guess it was somewhat slow, they said, but um just a lot of very drunk people. And at the end of the night, like it was like 1:45 or so, and my boss was like, "All right, so you have to tell everyone that if they want to buy a beer, it's going to be $10 now because we're about to close." So I was like, "All right." And so people still wanted beer even after I told them it was going to be $10. Like, that's crazy. Why would you spend $10 on beer? But I guess when you're drunk and like you really want a beer, you don't care. So I'm like charging these people $10 a beer, and it was crazy. And so then, like, a few minutes after I was doing that, my boss was like, "All right, like, you have to go pick up all the beers. Like, even if they're drinking it, like, you have to take it." I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay." So I'm walking around, like, "Hi, sorry, but I have to take this freaking $10 beer away from your hands because we're closing." It was so crazy, and everyone was pissed at me, and I was like, "I'm sorry. Like, I understand this sucks, but you have to give me your beer." So I did that for a little bit, and then just cleaned up and left. I got out of there at like 3:10 maybe, and came home, fell asleep, woke up at 11, and went grocery shopping. Got some kale and a butternut squash that I'm really stoked about. And that's been my day so far, and I'm still like like so tired. I'm like feeling like I'm drunk or something. Like I keep doing really dumb things. Earlier I was like cooking vegetables, and the heat wasn't even on, and I was trying to cook them for like 5 minutes, and I was like, why isn't this working? So that's been my day, my few days. I hope this wasn't a complete waste of your life. Bye.